thanks everybody for joining us. This is going to be a cool conversational episode. We're going to make it short. It's going to be on DeFi, and I brought in a really cool cast of characters today. You know, one of the things that people don't really understand is actually what DeFi is. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do this. And I think probably the smartest person on it is standing next to me, Youssef, co-founder of the world's largest peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange in the world, Paxful. And he just recently wrote an article on it. Smart guy. We're also joined by the ever great Roger Ver, who is chairman of Bitcoin.com, my co-host Ryan Gorman, Rob from Digital Asset News, Donna Chaudhry, who's head of Bitcoin.com exchange, and CNBC and MarketRebellion.com's Jon Najarian. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by on a Sunday morning. So one of the things that everybody wants to know is, what exactly is DeFi? We all hear about it. We're all looking at the returns. There's people getting rich, but there's also a number of people getting wrecked. But what is it?
DeFi is an effort by programmers to essentially replicate all the value adds of Wall Street. So they turned Wall Street into Wall World, right? With 800 lines of smart contract code. Nearly any of the value adds of Wall Street and all these brokers, firms, insurance firms, etc., can be recreated. So credit services can be created. So there's many examples. Look at Uniswap, right? They basically took an exchange and managed to decentralize it. And they baked in very, very smart functions. For example, market making. This has been Wall Street's bread and butter for the past 100 years. Wall Street, if you want to list your stock, they'll tell you, hey, pay us 10% and we'll market make for your stock. What is that? What does that mean? Essentially, it's insurance against the collapse of the price of your stock. If there's not enough buyers or sellers or things get out of whack, they will come in and they will even out the balance. That's the service that Wall Street has provided. That has been their bread and butter of their entire industry for the past 100 years. Now, these guys at Uniswap, 800 lines of smart contract code, they've managed to replicate that with something called a slippage factor, right? So if you put in a trade, there's a slippage factor of anywhere from 1 to 10%, or it can go up and down. And because of that, they can actually figure out what orders get matched. And even more brilliant, they've figured out how to take the money that's made from that, and each profit that's made from that goes into a pool. And if you lend your liquidity to that pool, because there has to be liquidity in to market make, right? Meaning tokens have to go in there. There has to be a supply there to buy and sell. The algorithm is buying and selling based on this slippage factor, this new variable they've introduced. And if you put in 10% of the total pool, you'll get 10% of the total profits. They have essentially replicated Wall Street's market making function and created a way to democratize it. That's absolutely brilliant. Now, I will say all the yam, sushi, and all the other junk that's coming out there, this is a total scam on the level of OneCoin, but the technology that is powering this is very real. And it reminds me of Bitcoin. You know, in the beginning, of course, Bitcoin is not a scam, but and all these ICOs, they weren't a scam either, but essentially you can create your own IPO with the click of a button. You can go to a smart contract generator right now on the web, just type how many tokens you want, put in your name, how divisible they are, a few other variables, boom, and you have your own token out there, and you can go to Uniswap and you can manually add it there. That is essentially like a one-click IPO. That's another feature. Then there's Earn Finance and all these other amazing features they have in there, from insurance to lending to credit. The pace that things are moving at right now is absolutely unparalleled. I lived through the whole dot-com bust, and this is like that on steroids, meth times 10. It's a different level. I can't keep up with it. It's absolutely it's amazing what's happening. I encourage everyone to dive deep into this. Even if you don't know what you're doing, that's fine. Just get into this, because this is absolutely the future. The future is here now, and there's so many problems that we can solve. If you're entrepreneurial, if you're a product person, you can look at all these amazing services, use all of them, and you'll see how they can be improved. And if you're someone that has built a successful business with a user base, this is your opportunity to bring in new blood into DeFi. Because right now it's the same circle jerk of degens, aka degenerates.
Degens, I like this.
Exactly, we can take it beyond that. If you've built a successful business, Paxful has 5 million customers in Africa, India, and the emerging South. We want to bring DeFi to them in a way that makes sense, in a way that can enrich and empower them. And you guys have been talking about Uniswap. What's the most brilliant thing that Uniswap has done lately? They've given out this stimulus bill, right? And they've created fanatically loyal community. This is basic community building. What they're doing has not been, it hasn't been done before in this way, but it's the absolute basics of community building. And that's how business works. There's so much to learn here from DeFi, so much to learn.
Question, buddy. And
Yeah,
Don, when are you going to list DeFi coins? Are you going to start listing stuff like that?
We'll list a few, but I think I agree DeFi is great. But I think from a centralized exchange perspective, when I look at DeFi, when I look at Uniswap and everything, there's so many scams out there. People can list their coins immediately. Lots of people put in their Ethereum in there, and then they rug pull and they disappear, and that people have lost hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on it. Well, from a centralized exchange perspective, we at least vet the coin, we vet the team, we make sure that it's legal opinion, then we give people access to it. So I think DeFi is great, but I think there's still a lot of room in it for it to kind of secure the users and their money.
So, absolutely.
Now, Rob, you're into DeFi. You have a portfolio of DeFi. What's going on in your head right now? Because you've been smart enough to figure a lot of this stuff out on your own.
Well, not like that. That was a great speech. Thanks, man.
Deep, right?
He's a good guy. No, like when I see DeFi on my channel, the thing that I always see is, hey, there's this new project, there's a new project, just like what Dinesh was talking about. There's a new project, and all of a sudden that project goes away, and there's people just left holding like, where's my money? And then they're gone, and they get wrecked. Yeah. So there's that part. But just like what was said, as far as like decentralized finance, I see it as a great type of service, like businesses, right? Small businesses like mine. It is a hassle to go to the bank, to go through all that paperwork, to jump through all those hoops to get a loan for my businesses that I can use, and not just like tomorrow. We're talking about weeks and weeks in advance if it gets approved at all. So if we do something like decentralized finance, where we go someplace and go, I need a loan for X amount of dollars. I don't have to jump through all those hoops. I can just get everything that I need to do. And because me as an owner, I know exactly what I need. They give it to me. I'm only limited by the cash flow that I have. And if I can do something like that, it makes it great. And I think DeFi, once the small businesses all figure it out, explosion. Bank and the unbanked, explosion. And as we move forward, it'll just be bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why I think this is the year, 2021, next year, that everything just expands rapidly.
Roger, do you have DeFi in your portfolio? Is this something that you've been dipping your toe in? Because one of the things, a couple of things that don't disappear: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. Nobody's worried about that. But what's your thought process on the whole DeFi explosion going on?
Yeah, I need to read more about it is where I'm at. I've owned ETH since it was single digits, and I have plenty of ETH, so I hope to catch some of the DeFi wave just by holding the ETH itself. But I hear sushi goes bad after a week, and you got to be careful. And I need to know exactly what I'm getting into before I want to move some money into that sort of thing. So,
Jon, is this the way of the future of Wall Street? Is some way, yes, somehow this going to be the baseline?
Well, it certainly has that potential, Alex. And, the first bits of this that we saw were, the airdrops and things like that. And what you guys just described is so much better than that. What Uni has done, so much better than that. Obviously, some on Wall Street, like, for instance, Robinhood has already sort of followed that path. Because when you open a Robinhood account, not only do they gamify it, and I have no relationship with them. I no holdings of Robinhood or anything else. I'm just kind of describing when they do those, when they gamify it, and then when they do give people, fractions of a share or whatever to get started, when they fund their account and things, it's borrowing a little bit from what you guys just described about DeFi and about Uni. I mean, that really is Wall Street, at least some on Wall Street, that one firm at least, trying to react to what they're seeing as being successful over on the digital asset side.
Yeah, totally agree. Roger, do you ever see yourself, once you understand it? I mean, raising capital for another project of yours or something using DeFi or any other new means? Because it seems we're always getting more innovative in how to raise capital. Unfortunately, with each time we get innovative on how to raise capital for projects, also pops up twice as many scammers, whether they're on YouTube and shilling some sort of crap. But I mean,
Isn't this going to be on YouTube at some point? Come on.
oh, we're only shilling BCH right now, okay? But you know, the fact of the matter is, ICO, the ICO is gone. The craze is gone. There needs to be new ways to incentivize investors to raise capital, and this seems like one of those smart plays. You know, do you see yourself doing this in the future at any point with any of these innovations that come out?
Yeah, I absolutely see myself participating on the investor side and you know, doing the lending there and hopefully getting a safe return and consistent return on my money that I'm lending out there, whether it's, you know, a stable coin or Tether or ETH or whatever. So I'd love to ask Ray real quick though, because I've been a Paxful user. It's a fantastic site. I'm amazed when you put an ad up just how quickly someone pops up and is ready to take the other side of your trade on Paxful. So for anybody who hasn't tried Paxful yet, please try it. It is incredible, the amount of traffic and the amount of transactions that are going on there. But I do know that a large percentage of the Paxful users are people from third world nations that would be very, you know, fee conscious, let's put it. And I talked to one of your guys previously at a conference, and they said that, you know, Bitcoin Cash was in the roadmap. Is that still in the roadmap? Can we expect it to have a low fee option of some sort on Paxful where people, especially in countries where, you know, $6 in fees, that's a meaningful amount of money for a lot of these people. And I'd love to be able to promote the heck out of Paxful with a low fee chain available on it as well, because the service itself is great. The fees on Bitcoin aren't. So what say you, Ray?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Roger. That was beautiful. I really appreciate that. You've done more for Bitcoin and the entire crypto community than, I mean, I don't know how many other people have done as much as you, honestly. So thank you so much for being one of the pillars of the community, Roger. We just added Tether because our users have requested it. And some are starting to request Ethereum now, so we might add that as well. But basically, whatever our users ask for, we add. They have not been requesting BCH in mass. Maybe that will change. As far as users being fee conscious, you know, the blockchain fees are very high. They are very conscious of those fees. If someone wants to send $2 worth of Bitcoin, it costs $3. You know, that's a travesty we have to avoid. And we've tried to fix that by batching, etc. But you're right, Bitcoin Cash would provide a lot of utility and relief there. So that's something we'll definitely think about in the future. I've been thinking about it for the longest time. So let's keep our fingers crossed and our smile.
Well, I'm a Paxful user and I'm requesting it. So there you have it. Thank you.
There you go. That's one notch.
Awesome stuff. Ron, you got any questions for Ray on DeFi? I mean, I know you've been studying this stuff ever since it started popping up on our radar.
I mean, I think for a lot of people out there, you know, they don't really understand what yield farming is. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about how that works and, you know, how tokens like Yearn and some of the other ones that you've mentioned are able to pay such high like interest rates on holdings compared to like when you have traditional savings accounts effectively paying zero, at least in the US?
Well, what say you?
I wish I knew. I mean, technically, I think I understand, but that part of it still concerns me. Yearn Finance, however, out of all the other tokens out there, it is the most legitimate. And these are the guys that left all the money on the table. Let's not forget that. They left all the money on the table, and that builds trust. And whenever you go into anything like this, trust is the prime asset, right? So the fact that all that trust is on the table gives them a tremendous amount of maneuverability, right? And flexibility, room to breathe in the space, room to do things. That's the best answer I can give you guys right now.
Is there enough transparency in the space?
Well, you know what anonymous sushi chef is yet? I think he got doxxed, right? That's why he gave back the money. I mean, no, the answer is no. We don't have enough transparency in the space. Danish had a great point. Centralized services, you know, they can really help bring this to the masses. Because the masses, at the end of the day, they don't care if it's completely decentralized or not. They just want to be onboarded into this in a frictionless manner. And that really is the beauty of DeFi, is that you can onboard without any friction. In Africa, We lose 40% of the people that try to KYC because we can't KYC them because there is no localized KYC in Cameroon. There's 5 types of national ID in Nigeria. There's no such thing as proof of address in Kenya, etc. So the frictionless onboarding is one of the greatest things about DeFi. Best answer I can give.
Well, I mean, guys, this has been fun. I've taken up enough of your time. You know, thank you for joining from all over the world. Roger, chairman of Bitcoin.com, Ryan, my co-host, Rob from Digital Asset News. Check out his YouTube channel. It's mostly better than mine.
Debatable. But
From Bitcoin.com exchange. We got John from CNBC and MarketRebellion.com, and of course, Mr. Ray from Paxful. Guys, thank you so much, and till next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, everyone.